There we go. Shit. Great. This is what. Hey, what's up, everybody? Zach here from Waltzwork. Today you get hungover Zach because July 4th, freedom, fireworks, and too much beer. But also today we're going to talk about jigs and how to align them in the laser and get things to mark, perfect right off the bat. Or as near perfect as you can be. So we're going to go over which coordinates to use, absolute coordinates, how to secure it in the laser, how to, use the witness marks, just all the good stuff. I know I saw a couple comments in one of the Facebook groups of talking about jigs, how to use them, so figured I'd throw this video together. Hopefully it helps somebody. If not, watch it anyway. Like, subscribe, please. All that good stuff. But yeah, let's jump over into Lightburn and let's start knocking this thing out. All right, here we are. We're firing up. The old Omtech's doing a homing thing here. So what we have here is, like I said, my 9 business card jig and the witness marks, crosshairs, whatever you want to call them. But that's what we're going to use today, and I'm going to show you a super simple way of getting this thing dialed in, and hopefully this helps you. I make these. It takes a few minutes to make them. I'll have an upcoming video of how to make these in case you want to make your own. If not, then hit me up and I'll also send you one pretty cheap. Obviously there's not a whole lot going on here. So the way I do mine is I've just got some magnets up here towards the front edge. I kind of keep them in the same position. Most of my jigs are close to the same size because I just have 12 by 12 sheets of basswood that I use for most of these. So I'm going to scoot this puppy in here, and we're going to start in this front corner. What I'm going to do is move the laser up here. I know you can't see the dot very well, unfortunately. I can't get it to show up good on the web or on the GoPro here. And that's about as close to center as I can probably get it. And here is where I also messed up in the very beginning, because a lot of times I would focus the laser to my business card because I want to make sure I was ready to go right off the bat. Well, if you have El Chinese-o like me, you've just got the laser back here that's just kind of pointing at an angle. And as you focus or defocus, that dot moves a lot. So what you got to do is make sure you're focused to that. And I probably am not, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to try to set you up over here. Who knows? I can't tell what you can see, what you can't see. Hopefully you can. But there we are. Going to use my little alignment block here. I use different focal lengths for different things, like you probably do as well. We all do. But I did a RAM test on this one. The focal length gauge that came with it was 18 millimeters. I found out 15 and a half, 16 actually cut the cleanest, the best, thinnest lines, really good characters, all that good stuff. So go ahead and bring this up. I just 3D printed this one. I didn't have any acrylic to cut it out of. I've got the Bamboo Labs X1C. It cuts or it prints really, really accurate. So this thing's within, like 100 microns. So, but there we are, and we are now focused to that. So that's where I have to redo that once we put business cards in. And as you can see, it is definitely off now. And that is exactly what I was talking about, making sure you have this dialed in. Otherwise, you're just going to run some cards right off the bat. So let's go ahead and get that back up there center again. That looks pretty good, about as close as I could get it. All right, here we are. I just fired up Lightburn here, and I will get my template opened up, and I'm going to show you the first step. We have to go back and forth from here to the laser a couple times, but all in all, it's pretty straightforward. So here's my business card. There it is right there. So this is just the exact file that I used to cut it out. I use it as a jig. Sometimes I'll put another tool line inside of this just so I kind of have a not to exceed with the print, just because it gets a little too close to the edge. There's always a little wiggle in there with the business cards. All of them you buy are a little different size, so kind of keeps it safe, keeps it looking good on the card. But yeah, So we know we have put the laser right here on this jig, right here, this bottom corner. So now we got to figure out where to place this in the laser to make sure we're good to go. So Lightburn, perfect option. Just go over here, you know, in your move tab, click get position up here. We don't care about the numbers. What we care about is this guy right here. So this is telling you exactly where your laser is in the bed of your machine. All we're going to do, grab all this. I'm going to drag it right down there. We're going to zoom in. We're going to use our control to get it close, and then control shift to really tune it in. Again, you may have to do this a couple times, but once you've done it, you know, half a dozen times with different jigs, you're going to get really fast at this. So right now, ideally, we should be right on with that. Our jig is probably a little crooked, so that's why we have 2 witness marks. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to location, and then we're going to zoom in up here on this top one. We're going to click right in the center of it, and if we did this right, that laser should now be focused in the center of your top mark. And what that tells you is your jig is exactly where you want it. You know, your home position on this one is the top right hand corner, because I am in absolute coordinates. So this jig is on the bed, the laser is exactly here in the middle, and then when you go to engrave these business cards, it's going to go right here. So let's go look at the laser, see how good we did, and we'll take next step. So let's go over there. So here we are. As usual, the dot looks huge. You know yours isn't that big. Mine isn't that big. That's what she said. Yeah, we're pretty darn close. Like, that's actually pretty good. That's why I leave these magnets here. So scoot that down a little bit. Get that one up. And then I'll start moving some of these magnets in to start holding this in position, because we're going to have to make a couple more tweaks, I'm pretty sure of it. So I just kind of put them in all 4 corners. I'll put some on top to hold it down, but right now I just want to make sure it's in place on the bed, because these are just cheap wood and they're bowed. They do all kinds of weird stuff, so you do need to hold them down to make sure you're engraving close to the same height on all these business cards. So like I said, there we go, got her in there. Let's go back over to Lightburn. What we're going to do next is we're going to go back to this dot and see if we're still on. If not, then we'll have to kind of play around with this thing a little bit more. All right, back at Lightburn. One up. Go back over here and grab my set laser position tool. I'm going to zoom in on this fellow. Now double click, or not double click, just click. Probably hear the laser moving in the background. Knock the GoPro over. We're on a good run today with destroying the poor GoPro. So that's part of it. That's what they're made for. There we are. And we are definitely close enough. I mean, that's literally a little low and off. What you can do from here, instead of trying to move this, because when you go to move this, you move it quite a bit every time. What you can grab your whole template in Lightburn, and then use, control shift, and then just tweak it one way or the other. Like, move it a millimeter to the right, millimeter up, and then hit your location on that one again, see if it moves to the dead center. So that makes life easier from here on out, instead of trying to physically move this and get it lined up perfect. But as of right now, that is close enough to where we could definitely be engraving some business cards, and they're going to be where we want them to be. So that wasn't too bad, right? It's really straightforward. It's super simple. Once you've done it a couple times, it'll be second nature. And as long as you make all of your jigs with those witness marks, or some kind of mark to align it with, so it knows exactly where it is in the bed, you're using absolute coordinates, it will work for pretty much anything. They do pretty much have to be there when you make the jig to really get it lined up perfect. That's the easiest way I found. If there's even an easier way, or, drop it in the comments. Tell me. I'm happy to hear it. I'm always open to suggestions, easier ways to do my job and make stuff. That's what we're here for. We're not here to waste time. We're here to make money, or at least the most of us are. Some of us just do it for fun. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. My email's in the profile. You can drop a comment down there. I jump on a screen share session with you if you're having some problems with this and not understanding it. Walk you through some some basic jigs, how-tos, all that good stuff. I'll also be making some videos for it, which I hope those will help out a little bit as well. So again, thank you. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, share. It just helps me out. Hoping to grow this channel a little bit more. I've been told for years I should be, doing YouTube of all the stuff I do, because it's not just laser engraving. I do 3D printing. I work on motorcycles. I have, a metal lathe and mill in the garage. I weld, a little bit of everything. So I'm going to do my best to start keeping track of all that and the upgrades to the Omtech. I've done a lot there already. I've, obviously added the ear assist. I did the dual ear, kind of like the Thunders, where you got the low and the high. Finally got my chiller. That was a nightmare story on AliExpress, and I ended up buying like 3. None of them ever came. Luckily, I got all my money back. AliExpress is good like that. Never really had problems there until it came to these chillers. It was just an absolute nightmare. What else have I done? I think that's pretty much it. I've got it hooked to an Atom Stack air purifier right now, and it does a really good job. I am going to try to seal this thing up a little bit and see if I can keep some of the smell down, because as you can see, I am in my house. The garage, there's just not room. I'll take you for a tour out there one day. It is a train wreck. I have more stuff in a 2-car 20 by 20 garage than most people do in a full machine shop. It's just crazy out there, but enough room to work, and that's about it. Getting ready to actually upgrade the X-axis drive on the Omtech as well. These come max speed about 600 millimeters per second. I'm going to change that out to what's called a closed loop stepper motor, and that has a built-in encoder, doesn't lose steps near as easy. It gives an alert if it does lose steps, so it doesn't just keep running and ruin whatever you're working on. And if it's a business card, who cares? It's 20 cents. If it's a huge piece of acrylic, then that's not so good. You actually just lost a lot of money. You're probably going to make money on that job now and got to start fresh. So we'll see how that goes. I've got the parts ordered. They'll be here Monday, and hopefully it doesn't take too long. Hopefully get it recalibrated. There's not much information out there on doing it. I found one video. I got the right parts, pulley, motor, the stepper driver. And then I'll do another video of I'm going to use the old stepper driver to power my rotary. And instead of having to unplug the Y, I'm going to try. I don't know if this controller will be compatible or like it. I might have to make it think it's a Z, since I don't have a power bed, which I will also have one of these days. So, yeah, you have to put a lot of money in these lasers, but they do a good job. I've made some really nice products with this Omtech, and for the price, I bought it during, I think, the Memorial Day sale, like $2,400 and a 90-watt 20 by 28. And it's really hard to beat. As long as you're making good products, you're not fighting with it. Hopefully it lasts. I don't know. I mean, we'll just have to wait and see. If it starts failing, then we'll just offload it and upgrade to something else. But that's pretty much it. Again, like, subscribe, ask any questions you have down in the comments, shoot me an email, check out the store, whatever. Always looking for feedback. This is probably my first long video, and I hope it goes well. Hope it doesn't bore you too bad. Try to keep it entertaining. Could not pass up the "that's what she said" joke, but usually I like those to be in my advantage. That one didn't work out so well for me. Whatever. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. See you soon.